Good afternoon, Kirshni, and welcome to Mthatha High Court. A few minutes ago, lawyers representing the king have started discussing the bail extension application that they've brought forward as an urgent application to try and keep the king away from prison for another 14 days. They are saying that there are issues that he needs to attend to over Christmas and New Year at his nation before he can actually hand himself over. What happened this morning, we saw Contralesa handing over a presidential pardon application to the office of the presidency, and also the Society for the Protection of the Constitution also petitioning the Minister of Justice, asking him for a retrial on the matter. We don't know how far they are with the application inside, but we're just waiting because the Department of Justice re-emphasized that the king needs to hand himself over to Wellington prison by midnight today, and if he doesn't do that, police will be sent to apprehend him and then bring him to book. However, this application is likely to change that, because if he's granted the application, then he'll have another 14 days at home. But we don't know how far the application is. We're still waiting outside.
Zimkhita, what happens if we are fast approaching midnight? Do authorities go in and take the king by force? What happens now?
Actually, we were told that he should come to the head of Mthatha Correctional Center before the end of business day. It's past 3 now, and business day ends in the next hour or two. So we don't, but he's given until midnight to go and hand himself over. Hence, I'm saying that it is only this application. This is his last minute a chance now to try and change things around, because as it was stressed in his bail conditions that should his application for leave to appeal his 12-year sentence not be granted by the Constitutional Court, he'll have 14 days and then he'll have to surrender himself to prison. So this is the only loophole. In fact, this is the only plea that he can make legally to try and stay away from prison. And earlier we went to his home, where we were told that he has been sleeping the whole day. He's a little bit frustrated as reality is really sinking in now, Kirshni, because if you count hours, if this application is not granted, then it means he has about 10 hours that he before he can bring himself to prison. And the security at his private residence has now been beefed. Yesterday we were there. We saw children playing outside, but today we don't see any kids walking around the yard on their own. There are security guards in every corner of his private residence, because we see a lot of journalists who have come to Mthatha, because this is quite an interesting case of its own.
Zimkhita, you've spent time at the King's residence, you've told us. One wonders how sympathetic the locals are to the King's plight right now. Some were of the feeling that he's disgraced the royal family and taken advantage of some vulnerable subjects.
A lot of people are happy that justice has been served. On social networks, people are talking about this issue. Some are saying that the king should really pay for what he instructed his subjects to do in 1995 and 96. But some are saying that should this king be sent to prison, it will be a disgrace to AbaThembu nation, because he'll be the first reigning king to be incarcerated since the inception of democracy in South Africa. So some are sympathizing him, not because they are saying that what he instructed his subjects to conduct was not against the law, but for the protection of traditional leaders, because they are saying that if this king can go to prison, what will happen to chiefs that are under him? Who would lead them? And another issue here is that there are also other traditional leaders who are skeptical that should he not go to prison while being found guilty of these offenses, it will set a precedent that all kings can do anything in South Africa and then not be sent to jail. So we're still waiting to see what will really happen. And most importantly for now, Kirshni, it is this application that is being discussed here, because it's his only application. The application to the president for presidential pardon doesn't say anything. It doesn't change his bail conditions. whether the president received the application, whether he's considering it, it does not amend the bail application, the bail conditions that by the 23rd of this month, he should go to prison. This is the only application that can change that.
Thank you. That was our reporter, Zimkhita Manqinana. She's coming to us from outside the Mthatha High Court, where King Dalindyebo's bail application is now being heard. Of course, King Dalindyebo is the very first monarch to be given a jail term since South Africa became a democracy in 1994.